Yo, what is going on, guys? How you doing this morning? It's your boy Sydney here with you, and this is what masculinity looks like, even with a cut finger. So guys, I had a chat with a buddy of mine on the weekend, on Sunday actually, and I was just thinking about something else today, and the conversation that I had with him came back and, well, for lack of a better term, slapped me in the face, if you will. Metaphor, of course. And you know, he was talking about how he's really not enjoying his job, and how he said, oh, I know we might make fun of this person for not having any direction and being stuck in the same place for ages, but you know, when we think about it, he's got it easy because, you know, he's an autopilot, doesn't have to think, you know, he's got a secure job. And I was like, well, I see where you're coming from there, bro. I see where you're coming from. But at the same time, how disheartening is it to be stuck in the same place, doing the same mundane job day in, day out for over a decade in a retail environment, customers complaining, you know, just selling the same shit, no variety. And I thought to myself, you know, sometimes it's not a bad thing to take the path less traveled. You know, I mean, obviously I'm taking the path less traveled. You know, I could have continued on my blue pill way and just, you know, not done these videos and, you know, not lose my job and not have really... Sorry, that just dropped out for a second there. But, you know, I could have taken the path less traveled, and I could have, you know, not lost my job, and I could have continued getting good commission at the place I was at, and I could have continued just carrying on in my own little blue pill world with only minimal of red pill knowledge. And I thought, no, this isn't the path I want to take. You know, I want something with purpose, and it hasn't been an easy path, guys. Like, it's been tough, you know, and shit's still tough. But I don't know that I would have done it any other way. I mean, sure, there might have been things I'd tweaked if I'd had hindsight, but you can't get hindsight until after the fact. That's the problem with hindsight. That's why they call it hindsight, because it's behind you. And my mate, he's really good with like auto electrics and electric stuff. So I've got a motorbike that I haven't had working for about 6 or 7 months now, and literally had him over on Sunday finally, now that I've got some time and he's also free, and he fixed my bike for me. It was just a 30 amp fuse next to the relay box, and because I've never been really that good with auto electrics, I didn't know exactly where I was looking, and I couldn't get it to a bike shop because, well, there was no power to the bike, and I didn't have a bike trailer, and I didn't have a car with a tow bar. So it's kind of like there's a whole heap of steps I need to go through to get to that point, just so that I can pay more money to get them to fix it. And it could be a costly fix if it's wiring and they have to pull the loom out. Who knows, right? But yeah, my buddy came over and I bought him KFC for lunch, and he just replaced the 30 amp fuse for me after he traced back the issue. And you know, it was just good to hang out with him. And I said to him, you know, like, I know you're not really that happy with your job because once you're out of training, they put the pump on. And he's like, yeah, man, it's like every day they're just putting more pressure. I was like, well, if they don't put pressure, then no one's going to perform because no one's going to feel like they have to. I'm like, yeah, I guess, but it still sucks. And I was like, dude, why don't you just go and do your apprenticeship as an auto electrician? Like, I know that with your experience, you'll get more pay. And he goes, oh, I can't afford to. Like, his actual words initially was, I've left it too late. And, you know, those words kind of, at the time, they really hit me, because there was a time at which I thought I'd left it too late to do what it was that I want to do. You know, and we all get hamstrung on this thing about money, you know, like, oh, I can't afford it, I can't afford it. It's like, what do you mean you can't afford it? Like, at what point did you put yourself in a position where you can't follow your dreams? Guys, you You know Colonel Sanders, the guy who invented KFC? You know that, the billion-dollar franchise? Yeah, well, let me tell you a little something about KFC. He didn't actually discover the secret recipe until he was in his senior years. He pounded the pavement. He made it happen, right? Man, the Colonel, like, what a legacy to leave, you know what I mean? That's why his logo is like of this old dude, because that's what he looked like when KFC became a major franchise. So, and this guy had turned 30, probably like about a month ago. I went to his birthday. This guy's telling me it's too late. Fuck out of here, bro. Like, man, I love you, but you got to snap out of this mindset. We're all stuck in this at one stage or another, right? I don't know anyone who at some point has not been stuck in that it's too late, or too little, too late kind of mindset. You know, and it takes someone to actually come out and say, well, it's not too little and it's not too late. What can you do to reduce your expenses to a point where you can survive during this period so that you can build up? He was telling me he went and did a car stereo install job at this guy's place. And apparently this guy was like a super basic dude, like just like a bit of a bogan, you know, not that book smart, you know, not very articulate. He was a bit rough around the edges. But this guy's on like a sprawling, massive mansion, you know, with big, expensive cars and, you know, massive $20,000 TV in his lounge room. This guy's an electrician. He's a fucking electrician, right? It's too late, please. I think about it, right? You go through a 3 or 4 year apprenticeship at the age of 30. You're a fully fledged electrician by the age of 33, 34. If you can start generating 100K a year, right? And you can tax deduct most of that because you're buying equipment, but you've already got most of it, right? You're just really upgrading and you sell off all your old stuff secondhand, recoup about half the money you spend. You know, so you're getting almost a free upgrade to new equipment essentially, if you play it that way. It's like, man, there's so much opportunity. We live in the age of opportunity. I was speaking to another buddy of mine last night. We was saying, man, like, this is the age of opportunity. You know, the internet has created this whole new world. And Gary Vee was even talking about this 10 years ago, for those of you who know Gary Vee. Right, guys, if you think it's too late, if you think you've left something, right, I don't care if you're 45 and you've always wanted to be an electrician and you're sick of being in that admin job. Go and get your fucking trade. Right, us men, we can work to a 65. You have 20 years ahead of you. You have 20 years of soul earning potential. Right, get that trade. Start working. Build your contacts. Right, hustle. Ask the question. Pound the pavement. Get some big jobs. Get some subcontractors on board. It's never too late to start building shit. Right, that's what us men do. We make it happen. We have this incredible resilience and ability when we put our mind to something to make stuff happen in a way that we could not possibly envision before it happens. We just have to have faith in our own ability and the knowledge that we can. Right? We can. It doesn't mean we will. It means we have the potential to. So just get it done. And I notice we've got Janet here, and now Janet is Wigtail. Has sons. Right, Janet, I encourage your sons to get a trade if they don't already. It will be the best thing they ever do. There will be no Me Too for them. There will be no sexual harassment claims. Right? If they've got their own business, they just carry a body cam, have a dash cam on their car that runs even when the car's off. Right? They will be fully protected and insulated from this shitstorm that is about to start hitting the labor market. I mean, if any of you guys go and check out my video that I did yesterday, where they've got doctors and researchers at the Australian National University. Now, Australian National University is in Canberra. It is a government-funded university, right, in our nation's capital where Parliament House is, and this is the university that is pumping out research that is saying women need to work less hours for essentially the same money. They didn't say that specifically, but they said that women's working hours need to be limited to 34 hours a week, right, to protect their mental health and happiness. right? And this is the, you watch, and then we've got all these consent courses coming out saying, oh, it's not yes unless it's a hell yes. I mean, really? And then these consent courses at university. Keep in mind, university graduates are the media personalities of tomorrow. They're the politicians of tomorrow. They're the policy makers of tomorrow. These are the CEOs of tomorrow. These are the heads of diversity at big companies tomorrow. These are human resources employees tomorrow, right? So there's all these special privileges being pushed for by these leading universities, leading researchers, but at the same time, women are saying we can do everything that men can do. We're, you know, women power, etc., etc. So, you know, I just think it's really interesting. That's all I guess all I can say. Janet, that's great. Your son became a truck driver when he was 21. He's 26 and still loves truck driving. I try to get him to learn another trade for backup, but he says no. Janet, can I suggest you actually get your son to get his qualification to teach truck driving? That is incredibly lucrative if you become a truck driving instructor. Very, very lucrative. Just some food for thought for you. See, guys, and here you were thinking I hate women because I'm MGTOW, right? I don't. I actually really love women. I just hate what some of them are enabled to be able to do by way of government policy and by way of societal influences, right? Who would have thought society is actually not in favor of men, right? You listen to all this feminist rhetoric and you would think that women were the ones that had it tough, right? But they're the ones that are getting told that they should work less, right? To make up for the hours they work at home. Who's going to pay for that? Who's going to pay for that? Right? Because what you got to remember, I think I read something from a relatively credible business source that says, you know, an average of 9 hours of overtime a week is, you know, really the sweet spot for career advancement, right? And, you know, let's say, I mean, I would argue that the current working week is about 40 hours, but let's call it 38, right? Let's call it 38. 38 plus 9 is 47. Now, if you go back and watch my video on women should work shorter hours, based on this study that a female doctor who's apparently a leading researcher at one of Australia's leading universities, right, a real think tank, a real rule breaker, you know, people that think outside the box. They're saying that men should be limited to 47 hours a week. So that's full-time plus 9 hours. So that means that men are going to get all the career advancement and women are going to be working 10 hours less than what is required in order to be able to, no, it's more than that. It's 13 hours less than what would be required to progress their career. So there's going to be no career progression, honestly. So guys, I would strongly recommend find what it is that you love doing that's hands-on and make that your livelihood, right? Get a trade, become an electrician, become a carpenter. You know, if you're fantastic at giving advice on a particular industry, right? Sort of Damocles, if you guys have ever seen him in my comments, right? He's a top advisor for businesses, right? He's killing it, right? Because he knows what he's talking about. Right? So if you know what you're talking about, then go and make that your business, you know? Go and show people how it's done. Go and become a consultant, right? Seek out businesses that you can help and pitch to them. If you want to become good at something, go and learn. There's nothing stopping you. Learn coding. You can go online, udacity.com. UDACITY. Right? This stuff is dynamite, guys. Udacity is actually fantastic. You can learn online. They got self-paced courses for automation, for artificial intelligence, for self-driving cars, for coding Android, Unix, C++, Java, iOS. Like, code is the way of the future, guys. As things become more and more automated and there's more and more robotics and there's more and more apps, right? What we need is more code to tell these machines how to function. And coding is not something women typically graduate towards. And when they do graduate towards that, a lot of them, not all, but a lot of them want a fucking medal for it, right? Go and, like, if you got Instagram, right? Go and type in a hashtag on a new post, because you know how it comes up with suggested results. Go hashtag women who, and then it will be like women who code, women who work in construction, women who do this, women who do that. It's like, you're not going to find those hashtags for men who, because we just do it. We don't want a fucking medal. We don't need to, you know, put hashtags up for narcissistic purposes on social media so we can get all of these likes and all of this social validation. We just get shit done. We don't even need to talk about it. Like, guys, I've been getting shit done in the background that I'm not talking about. And I'm only saying this now because, you know, obviously if I'm going to be talking about something, I need to be a role model. I need to set the example, right? Right? I can't be just one of these people who say, everyone should do this, but I'm not going to do it. Right? So, you know, I need to lead by example. And it's kind of hard to lead by example when you do things under the radar. But it is definitely something that yields very good results, guys. And take my word for it. If you don't believe me, try it. See what happens. I assure you, the results will astound you. If you have not already tried something like this. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to impart that food for thought for you this morning, and perhaps inspire you to look at what you can do to change your path. You know, do you really need that Spotify subscription? Do you really need that Netflix subscription? Do you really need that PlayStation or that Xbox One that you don't play anymore? Do you really need that TV that you don't watch anymore? Do you really need that furniture that's collecting dust that you don't use anymore? Do you really need that 7-year-old paperwork that really should be shredded and given to a pet store so that cats and dogs can piss on it while they're waiting for someone to buy them? All right? Do you really, really need all this stuff? Because I have cleared out so much stuff from my house. I cannot begin to tell you. Seriously. I even threw out my fucking bed frame. Even threw out my bed frame. Right? Because I had the mattress on the floor. It's like, well, I don't need the bed frame. The bed frame's kind of broken up and it's had its day. Why am I going to keep it in the hope that one day it might magically fix itself and might magically be practical to use again? The reality is it's not. So I got rid of it. Anything that you can give away. I gave away my drone to a friend of mine and he gave me some money for it and I was appreciative, but I didn't expect it, you know? It was only like $150 drone. And I'd had it, I'd had some fun with it, I enjoyed it, and I moved on, you know? I don't need it anymore. Like, for what purpose? Is it serving me? Is it helping me to improve myself? Is it helping me to grow as a person? Is it adding any benefit to my life? Well, no, it's just adding clutter to my life. And that's great advice as well. If I don't touch it in 2 months, it goes most of the time. Yeah. And guys, like, if you've got a shirt that you don't wear out, if you've got and that same shirt, you've got it at home and you're like, oh, I just keep it for home, but then you wear the shit that you wear out at home because it's comfy, why even keep it? Throw it in this, for you guys in Aussie, throw it in the Vinnie's bin, throw it in the Salvation Army bin, right? Throw it in any of these clothing bins for the less fortunate. Like, it's winter here in Sydney. Like, it's 9.5 degrees Celsius here at 7:30 in the morning. Like, it's cold, man. You know, there's people out there that don't have clothes. People out there that do not have clothes. You know, man, just give your clothes you don't need and you don't wear away to the people that really need them. Like, yeah, you know, everyone needs to make things work and needs to provide for themselves in this world. But that doesn't mean that you can't give compassion to those people who are down and out, because sometimes all it takes is for someone to show you a simple act of kindness for you to actually realize that you need to do things for yourself And that's something that happened to me after my separation. Someone showed me a random act of incredible generosity by depositing $500 into my bank account and saying, like, they didn't tell me, right? They just said, let me flick you a couple of bucks. I'm thinking like 20, 50 bucks, you know, and I'll pay them back. And then they dropped 500 in my account, and he said, you know, go and take yourself out for a nice meal, you know, buy yourself some clothes. And I got choked up, I'm not gonna lie. And the crazy thing about this guy that threw that money in my bank account, I hadn't spoken to him in over 20 years. He added me on Facebook like 6 years earlier, but we'd never we hadn't interacted, we hadn't poked or waved at each other, you know, digitally, of course. Hadn't exchanged any text-based contact, hadn't shared anything with each other, just literally we were connected, and that was it. And he reached out, like, he obviously saw something that I'd shared online, and he reached out to me. He's like, I can see you going through a bit of a tough time right now. I'd love to be able to help out when I can. Love to be able to help out where I can. And I thought that was really kind of him. And so I said, look, here's my account details, but my only stipulation is for you helping me is that I give you the money back later. And he turned around and he transferred the money into my account straight away, and he said, I've just transferred some money to you, use it for this. I've been incredibly fortunate, I don't need the money back. He's like, I just want you to look after yourself. Right? So really, really, really genuine, really good guy. Like, what a beautiful gesture. And I'll definitely be paying that forward when I see someone in the same boat, you know, in the same amount, if I feel that that person is going to use that money wisely. So that was that particular random act of kindness, because you know what, when we have our own family and our close friends showing kindness, you know, it's like we're used to that, so it doesn't break our pattern. It doesn't really break our pattern sometimes, even if we're going through depression or something that's really tough. It takes someone from outside of the circle of what we know to actually break that pattern and make us come to a realization. And that guy doing that for me, that realization that I came to from having that act of kindness shown towards me, made me say, okay, it's time to get up off your ass, Sydney, and make shit happen. Right? You've been given a new lease on life. This guy's shown you that people care that you didn't even know cared. Right? So it's time to start caring about yourself. So that's just something I wanted to impart with you guys. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go for now. I don't want to waffle on too much. It's already been 23 minutes, but I appreciate you all tuning in. I appreciate all of the comments and the discussion in the chat box. And if you do want to donate to this channel, feel free to head on over to patreon.com/Sydney MGTOW. If you are free tonight, Tuesday, the email to sydneymgtow@gmail.com or yourlifetoday1@gmail.com. A friend of mine, John, and I are holding a get-together for a group of men, just to, you know, chat and share ideas. We're meeting at Bondi Junction at 7 p.m. tonight, and I look forward to catching you guys all in the next video. Peace.